Hey guys, it's me again. Now I had planned to finish the Ansible series, but I had issues with Ubuntu. For example, the Kubernetes cluster stopped working, so I decided to move everything to OpenSUSE, but everything will work just the same. So in this finale of the series, we will build a dashboard with Grafana and Ansible. So let's get started. So let's begin. Now, we're going to be referencing a lot of files here, but bear with me, it will be worth it. Now, the first thing I had to do was to log into my Pi again, which I have here. And of course, I also had to go into my YouTube Ansible directory. So let's look at these files in order. Last time I tried doing this, it was all a mess. So the first thing we need to do is to get Argo CD running again. Now, unlike the last time, which I provided scripts, this time I provide playbooks. So here we create a namespace called Argo CD, and the state is present, the kind is namespace. Then I have a command where I install Argo CD. Then I obtain a password here, and this is just the debug. Now, of course, you can add a text file. You can output to a text file called password.txt, and then you can access the password from there. After that, you want to create a node port. So in this case, we have the same node port as before. We have our labels here, and we have the name right here called Argo CD and server node port. Then we want to use either port 80 or 443. If we're using HTTP, we'll use port 80. If not, 443 for HTTPS. Now, it's worth noting that we have to use port 30,007 or 30,008. Now, you can use either one. I use 30,007, but again, it's your preference. And this is a node port. Next, we need to run that. And we can do this by using Argo CD node port deploy. All we're doing is just deploying the node port from the Argo CD directory, and that's it. So you'd have to run this first. Then, after that, we port forward so we can log in to Argo CD. So here I log in to port 30,007 and 80. Make sure you put this, and make sure you reference the Argo CD namespace. After that, and of course there's SCD outlines. Now this doesn't really work, but as in I don't get out any lines, but it still works. Then we have this. This is just like before, only this time we are running the Ansible YouTube playbook, which is, well, the Ansible YouTube YAML file, which runs the Kubernetes manifest located at this repo on GitHub, and it's locating this file, led.yaml. So here we have the deployment. We have the Prometheus scrape metrics and LED port. Then we have service. Then we have our service monitor, which we've already addressed in our previous directory. Now, we also need to install Prometheus. Now, of course, we can do this by running Prometheus install. Now, this is optional. You don't have to do it this way, but I recommend it. So we create a namespace called monitoring, add a Prometheus chart, add a stable chart, update our Helm repos. Then, of course, we install Prometheus and Grafana. Make sure to install Helm first. And I provided a playbook for that one. It's a simple one. It runs the Helm command. So that's what you'll need before you run this playbook. Then we run this. This is optional, just to make sure that Prometheus is being detected, is detecting our application. After that, we run Grafana at port 30,000 at 80. So be sure to use this correct line. And of course, when we're done, we can use the remove service playbook, where we remove the service, the deployment, and the service monitor. So in order to run a specific Ansible playbook, again, make sure to run this command. and then you run the playbook here. Now I'll be running these playbooks off screen just to make sure everything is correct. So let's get started. Hey guys, so here is the demo. Now I have to run multiple tabs. So here I ran the Argo CD port playbook, then I ran the Prometheus port forward and Grafana, as well as my service for the application. So here I have Grafana running, just to show you. It's running, just ignore this because if I was running K3S, this would not be saying progressing. Here is Prometheus, and this is the LED monitoring, which is up. So last scrape was 8 seconds ago. And here is the main dashboard. So here we have RAM usage, total requests per second, CPU usage, requests per second, average response time, and pod uptime, which is currently at 100%. So we run this. Now the Raspberry Pi is behind me, but if I run it, the LED is blinking. So we go back to the dashboard. So I'm going to refresh it. And as you can see, it's already updating. So just to be clear, this is how we would use Ansible to build our dashboard. So we had a lot of playbooks to run, but everything ran successfully. And of course, that brings an end to our Ansible series. So I'm going to close things up, and I will talk about what we're going to do next in the future. So that's it for this video, guys. Now, I have just a few more videos to upload for the year. However, next year, in January, we're actually going to start a brand new series. And this time we're going to be using Terraform, which is used for infrastructure provisioning. That's right, we're taking this project to the next level. So stay tuned for that in 2024. And I have other projects coming up that year, and I'll talk more about this in my year in review. So until next time, take care.